vision of the Literacy First process is to accelerate student achievement while simultaneously closing that achievement gap. It is our belief that all students can learn, all kids can learn to read. And so our mission is to get 85 to 95% of students reading on grade level within 3 years. And the way the process is set up with the research-based practices and the focus and all of the things that we do, we believe that all schools can achieve that goal and that all kids can be reading on grade level within that time frame. The Literacy First process takes a customized approach to everything that we do because we recognize that all schools are different. They all have very specific needs, and so we take that into account as we're going in to work with a school or a district. Now at the secondary level, we take a two-pronged approach to our customization. We have an intensive reading process and we have a content area process. The first one, the intensive reading process, has been designed for those students that are reading 3 or more grade levels below. And of course, we know that information is the key to anything. And so the first step we're going to do is we're going to assess these students. And we're going to use formative assessments to gather diagnostic information about where the gaps are in their reading, the deficits, so to speak. We're going to use that information to identify their zone of proximal development or that correct instructional level. Based on that, then we can then set it up like we do our elementary process, where we run flexible skill groups based on those students' point of needs and also literacy stations. The goal of the intensive reading process is to have those students reading on their grade level within 3 years. And by narrowing our focus and really taking a long, hard look at where these kids have these gaps in their reading achievement, that helps us catch them up. We have data to support that we can get as much as 3.5 years growth in 1 year's time with our intensive reading students. This is done on a daily basis. We ask for 90 minutes a day, 20-to-1 teacher to student ratio. And again, we're focusing on where these holes are because these are our students that come to high school reading on the 3rd and 4th grade levels. These are the kids that have always had that failure. And so our goal is to get them reading where they need to be, to boost their self-esteem and their confidence so they're not only succeed at reading, but they succeed in their other content area classes as well. The second prong that we have is the content area process. Now, I'm a former high school science teacher, so this one is really close to my heart. We know that when kids come to content area classes, science, social studies, math, any of the things that kids see at a middle school and high school level, there's difficult text. Most of our textbooks are written at least 2.5 grade levels above where kids are as far as their grade level. And we know that they come to these classes not able to use the textbooks effectively, not able to deal with Tier 3 or very complex content-specific vocabulary. So the content area approach is for students that are on grade level, above grade level, or no more than 2 years below grade level. And so this process, we really focus on specific ways, research-based best practice that focuses on comprehension approach, comprehension strategies, and vocabulary. We know Dr. Blocker says that every lesson's a vocabulary lesson, and we take that to heart. And so we use Marzano's work on academic vocabulary to help teachers specifically target difficult vocabulary words and to help kids better comprehend content area text. And those are the two approaches we take at the secondary level to help our students. Our intensive reading process is set up to train a specific group of teachers over 3 years. And we're looking for teachers that, first of all, have the instructional strategies to meet the needs of our struggling readers. But we're also looking for teachers that have the heart and have the passion for these kids that are struggling. And what you would see if you walked into one of our intensive reading classrooms is a teacher working with a small group of students, normally 6 to 8 kids in what we call a flexible skill group. Now, these small group of students are working with this teacher because they all have something in common, and that is they are lacking or need help in a particular skill. And we know that because we've used formative assessments to diagnose these kids' problems or their specific lacks in reading achievement. So you're going to have a teacher working with these kids. These kids are going to get small group instruction and attention, that one-on-one or really close to one-on-one attention that they need. And then you're going to see other students that are working in literacy stations throughout the room. And the purpose of a literacy center or a literacy station is to review and reinforce things that have happened in that small group instruction. So they're going to take the skills that they've worked with right there with that teacher at the teacher's table, and they're going to move them to maybe a little more sophisticated text, or they're going to go deeper. But this is where they practice them so they can become or have mastery of those specific skills that they're lacking in or they're struggling with. These key teachers that we train to be intensive reading teachers get 13 days of training over 3 years. We like to say at the end of the intensive reading process that we have created secondary reading specialists, because we give them so much focus on reading achievement and how to help these kids that are reading so far below grade level get caught up in the quickest amount of time possible.